700 soldiers and seamen died when the Mary Rose foundered as she sailed from Portsmouth to encounter the French fleet watched.
Okay, so I'm here with another participant on the Mary Rose. What's your name, please?
Berit Norge.
Great.
It's a Norwegian name.
Right, okay. So what was your involvement in the Mary Rose and when did you start diving?
I met Margaret Rule at the conference on underwater archaeology in early 1979. And I was listening to her presentation and I was wondering whether I could ask her, did I dare ask her to just have a dive on the Mary Rose? It sounded so fascinating. And I myself, I've been a student in underwater archaeology and had been diving on the wreck in Plymouth. And this conference was in Plymouth. And she had listened to my presentation about my wreck I was diving on. And before I knew it, she came up to me and asked if I'd come and work for her as an underwater archaeologist on the Mary Rose. And it was my wish come true. I've been dreaming about it, I've heard about it, I read about it, and here I'm being invited to come and work. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So how many years were you diving Mary Rose?
That was in 79, and I left in 81. I was pregnant then, and I didn't want to dive while I was pregnant. I know that somebody else did, but I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it was a choice, isn't it?
Are you going to maritime? Sorry.
So what was your day like on the Mary Rose?
Yeah, in the summer when it was light early and late, so that you wake up at 5 in order to be the first one in the water, because if you timed it right, you could be under for 1 hour and work and come up and have a break and then go down at midday without having to I nearly said decompress. And be down there for another hour and then wait for 6 hours and for the last dive on the day for another hour. So you could squeeze in 3 hours.
Yes, yeah.
You had to be up early and you're late to bed. And so you had volunteer divers and we had a fantastic people coming to dive with us. And they were shown around the site and taught how to use the airlift by a team of divers who stayed with us. And so you were allocated your divers, and I had about 6 or 7 dives, which I could use during the day. And I would then brief them on the dive platform, and they would go in and do the work. And if they were relatively new, I would go down and check on them outside my dive time. And so you were relying on the other people doing the airlift and to understand how careful they have to be.
Yes.
And they mustn't kneel on the seabed because there could be something precious underneath them where they could break easily. And also you have to teach them how to lift anything, because you have to loosen it from the trench and the bottom, and then you had to find a receptacle for it so you could lift it up, because when you then hit the surface it was wavy and it could fall out.
Around.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was quite important, that you had the right thing to lift it with. And then it came up, and when they came up from their dive, they had to write a log, and they had to make sure that the finds they had brought up had been given a finds number so that it could be related to their dive and where they were diving.
It's very involved, isn't it?
It is. But we were very lucky. We had a conservationist on board. He was sort of under deck, and he was the one who gave it a number and logged it and everything. So it was well set up.
Yes, yeah.
And it was being outdoors, diving, doing archaeology, which I love, and love history. And it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
And meeting all these lovely people and other people interested, and we had so much fun. it didn't feel like work.
No, so you get that impression from it, and it must be great to see everybody here tonight.
Oh,
familiar faces.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We are friends for life. Like the group there, John and Leslie and David, we are friends.
Yeah, that's really lovely. And what did you think of the 4D experience?
I liked it. I liked they had got the green quite good because I was worried it might be a blue, which it was never blue because it's so it's the Solent. And yeah, I thought it was good. What I thought could be made better, maybe less on the lifting and more on the archaeology, because some people doesn't quite understand the concept of the airlift.
Yeah.
And how can you put an airlift down there and hoover it, and how does that do? And to show how gentle you have to be, even though it's a seabed, and how easily plants can be just underneath the surface. So you have to be so careful where you put your knees when you're kneeling, and even when you are sort of swimming around, you mustn't stir the silt up because you don't know what's underneath there. And
Hopefully it'll inspire people to kind of look at diving and what the possibilities are.
Yes, that's what I was feeling. If we had more an airlift and undercover stuff on the pier, maybe we would sort of encourage younger people to come into the sector.
Yeah.
But obviously it's an expensive thing to do because you have to have all the sort of safety things in place, and then all the air and all the staff and all the security. But it's
an amazing thing, and I think it's just amazing to talk to you and some of the other divers. And then, just about your enthusiasm.
Yeah, and every time there's something like this happening, we are here and we are meeting each other again, and we're going to go off to have something to eat and drink, and it'll be a late evening again.
Yeah, well, thank you for talking to us.
It's been a pleasure.
It's really good to hear. Yeah, it's still alive.
Yes, we have to make sure that we pass on the knowledge before it's too late.
Yeah.
We are conscious of that.
Yeah. No, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay.
20th century technology went ponderously to work. Then a crow's nest view of the cradle, but not yet its 16th century burden. There was as much tension among the recovery team as on the long steel cables from which the cradle hung. Then, after 437 years, the skeletal ribs of Henry VIII's tragic warship emerged to a triumphant salute of sirens and gunfire.